I had an abortion at 16 weeks. I had a surgical abortion. I had a dilation and evacuation procedure, and I want to tell you about that experience. If you're curious about the why, watch my pinned videos and it'll explain why I had that abortion. I live in an abortion ban state, so I had to coordinate my own care. I had to find another place to have my abortion and then go there. I found a hospital in Boston where we had family. Because it was a hospital, there were not protesters outside. However, when I checked in, I had to be escorted to the wing of the hospital where they provide abortion care. And there was a security guard outside. I had to go through metal detectors and I was patted down. That was something that I was not mentally prepared for. And I do think it's worth us talking about and kind of preparing you to mentally and emotionally kind of experience that before receiving healthcare. So because I was 16 weeks, I was in a bit of a gray zone of doing a 1-day procedure versus a 2-day procedure. I wanted it to be all done in a day, and so that hospital let me do that. But other clinics that I was talking to said I had to do it over 2 days. They want to make sure that your cervix is ripe before you have the surgical procedure. So what that meant was I was one of the first ones there, and I had to take the medication. You put it under your tongue, it dissolves, and it starts softening your cervix. So because of that, I saw the doctor, signed all the consents, immediately took that medication and had to wait a really long time. So I was like one of the first ones there and then the second to last one to get my procedure done because I needed the time for the medication to work. A lot of people ask about pain. I delivered my living son via C-section and I never really labored. So I don't have the context of like how painful was it in terms of labor because I've never really experienced true labor. It was uncomfortable for the medication to kind of like ripen the cervix. It felt like a period cramp, but like times 100. I don't really experience very painful periods. It was so uncomfortable that I spent as much time as I could with my husband in the waiting room. But at some point I was like, I can't sit here with you and talk to you. I need like warm blankets. I gotta lay down. I couldn't sit anymore. I mean, I really wanted to be with my husband, but once they took me back, my husband couldn't be back there. So I tried as long as humanly possible to just like sit with the discomfort and the pain so that I could be with my husband. And at some point I was like, I can't do this. So then they took me in the back. I got warm blankets. I will say for me, because of the context of that abortion, it was very emotionally and mentally intense. I did make sure that in my D&E, I was knocked out. I think it was called twilight anesthesia. When I did come out of the surgery, I was in a lot of pain on my right side. And I let them know that. And I think within 30 seconds to a minute, they gave me pain medication to help with that. And I never felt pain in that area that way ever again. A few hours after the procedure, laying down with a heating pad, but I didn't take any more Tylenol. I didn't take any other medications because I really wasn't in any pain after that. I went on to have 2 healthy living children. I think we need to demystify abortions. I think we need to talk about our experiences. I don't think abortions should be feared.